Can't have the opening. Or Twitch will get big mad. I would say welcome back, but it seems the audio is acting a little weird. Let's see. That's fine. Welcome back, everyone. We're back with Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Oh. Can you do it? Alright. I believe we're on chapter 3? Yeah, Encounter. Oh no, we're not on... I thought we were on that this episode. No, we're in Purgatory. And then we're going to try and do 2 episodes today. Let me change the title. That was at the 2th episode. Alright. Let's go Encounter. I have an alarm set to see when the steam cell might be. Let's see. Tenjin 5. Is that a 23 or is it 33? Can you not read, Satoshi? Miss Yamazaki's handwriting is atrocious. This really wasn't my day. I knocked over my alarm clock this morning, and of course it stopped working. The very last pork sandwich sold up right before my eyes during lunch. And I was roped into a favor when I happened upon my homeroom teacher, Mr. Yamazaki, long after the school day had ended. So now, like it or not, I was on my way to deliver some notes to Miss Yui, our homeroom TA, who was out sick with the cold. I'll have to make sure I apologize to Yuka later. I know how disappointed she'll be that I'm missing our shopping date. Tojin 523, number 11. Found it. Oh yeah, Japanese... like... what is it called? I don't want... housing numbers make very little sense. I'm assuming it means, like, the 5th building on the 23rd block of this particular little, like, town. And she's, like, the 11th door? As long as it doesn't actually read 623, number 77, anyway. Stopped to compare the memo in my hand with the apartment building in front of me. Ooh, that place looks dodgy. It was 2 stories tall and looked a little on the shabby side, seriously. Probably around 20 years. That's not that old. Most houses in the US are like at least 50. It didn't seem very solid, nor was it particularly stylish or chic. It was completely an unremarkable structure in every way. Apartment 207, or was that 201? I was really getting fed up with this handwriting, and from a teacher no less. In any case, it seemed certain that the apartment on the 2nd floor, so I trudged up the startlingly narrow, steep stairs. The metal staircase was thoroughly blotched with patches of rust. Why would someone live in such a rundown apartment building? They're teachers. They don't make a lot of money. Yeah, our teacher's salary is really that low. Yes, actually. I felt a little sorry for her, but in a way, this place kind of fit her personality. With that thought in mind, I turned my attention toward apartment 201. Here we are, 201? Yeah, this doesn't look like Miss Yui's place. Door plate for the room nearest to the stairs had a name I didn't recognize scribbled on it. Guess that means we try door number 2. Passing room 201, I continued down the narrow walkway toward the end. Wandering alone around an apartment building I'd never been before made me feel kind of nervous. It wasn't like I was doing anything wrong, but my back still tensed up as I maneuvered around piled strollers, plastic toys, and bundles of newspapers. And then finally I arrived at the last door. Bingo! This was it. I breathed a sigh of relief. The door plate for the apartment read 207. Read Shishido. There's no Shishido. For an adult handwriting especially, the letters were rounded and overly cute. This was Miss Yu's place, alright. Well, Miss Yu's only like 23. What's this? I leaned in to read some writing in small script at the corner of the door plate. Beware of cat? Shouldn't that beware of dog? Haha, that's Miss Yui for you. So how exactly does one beware a house cat? Is it even possible for a house cat to be threatening? At any rate, I confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is Miss Yui's place, so my errand was nearing its end. What was Mr. Yamazaki thinking, anyway? I understand taking hand notes to sick classmates, but to live in class notes to the home of an absent teacher? Maybe he didn't want to go to these, dodgy neighborhoods. That just seems weird. This isn't something a student should be doing. He said he was busy with meetings, though, and he really needed one of his students to help him out. But was it really okay to entrust a school student with confidential class notes? Wouldn't it be kind of a problem if I would read these? I kept drifting from one question to another, and I'd become acutely aware of the inherent value in these notes I held in my bag. But tempting as it was, I couldn't bring myself to look at them because you're a narc. Right? Narc. Mr. Yamazaki put his faith in me, after all. And I was stronger than that. I couldn't let this get the best of me. At any rate, I was here. I should have just been able to drop off the notes and be on my way. Putting all my doubts and misgivings aside, I rang the doorbell. And then I waited, and waited, and waited some more, but there was no answer. Huh? It did ring, didn't it? Miss Yui! I rang the doorbell again, and also tried calling out. But there was still no response. What should I do? Maybe she's sleeping. Oh, cat wants out. Of course she does. Meow meow. You're talking about a cat too. I don't want to wake her, but I'm a little concerned. When we heard that Miss Yui was staying home sick today, we were all pretty disappointed. That's why part of me was actually a little happy that I was asked to run these over to her. I figured I'd be able to check in, see how she was doing, and let everyone at school know she was feeling better. It never occurred to me that I might not be able to see her, though. Miss Yui, why don't you just put the papers through the little door slot? Nothing, huh? Miss Yui? Hello? She was probably sleeping, or at the doctor's or something, but what if she was hurt? I tried opening the small mail slot and peeking in. Thought maybe I could get a glimpse of the room inside. Miss Yui? Felt kind of wrong peeking into someone's house without the permission. But I was legitimately worried about Miss Yui's health, so my conscience was clear on this. That is a weird-looking cat. Oh, the cat. A well-groomed cat was facing the door and staring back at me. With its head tilted slightly to the side, it let out an adorable meow. This must be the cat I was instructed to beware. And since Miss Yui was always going on and on about a little buddy, I'm pretty sure I remember his name. You're Moret, right? Oh no, it's Monet, I think. Yeah, Monet. What a pretty little kitty you are, Monet. Miss Yui talked about her cat a lot in class, so pretty much the whole school had heard of him. She even had some tins of cat food hidden on a shelf in the classroom, probably because she brought too much and had no room for them in her apartment. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Monet, Monet, is Miss Yui home? Go get your owner. I'm a busy student. If she's home, would you mind waking her up for me? That's a good kitty. Yeah, I didn't think that would work. My shoulders sank. I felt defeated. What the hell was I doing? Closed the mail slot and stood back up. I would have stuck my hand through the thing and been like, knock, knock. Dang, I sure hope Miss Yui's alright. She's probably just right out right now or something. Which means the door's locked, I'm sure. Lost in the speculation, I placed my hand on the doorknob. With a quick twist, I turned it and pushed on the door, opening it easily. Ah. It wasn't locked? Crap, that's not good. I can't let Monet get out. Is she dead? Or is this after Corpse Party 1? Or is this before Corpse Party 1? It was after. What is he doing? Haha, your master's pretty careless. I don't leaving the door unlocked like that. When his whisker twitches, I called out to him from the entranceway. What's that you say? She purrs? Ha, you and I are on the same page, Monet. Satoshi, that was lame. Here I was talking to a cat. Was that what I'd become? That's what happens when you have a cat. What should I do? Leave the papers on the desk? I was feeling pretty uneasy. Not only had I peeped into someone's home, I walked in without a second thought. Because you're our main character. Moreover, this is where Miss Yui lived, alone. In other words, a woman's apartment. No matter how many times I reminded myself that I was here on an errand, I could not feeling that I not only crossed the line, but leaped over it. Oh, she looks like she's a very standard small apartment for Japan. I tried calling her name one last time. But as I expected, there was no answer. So, what now? I was trying hard to avoid being too nosy, but my eyes inevitably began surveying the room. The apartment entrance led out and immediately into the kitchen. Beyond that, there was a sliding door to some other room. I could see some light through the gaps. I strained my ears, but there was nothing to hear. No signs of life whatsoever. Miss Yui must really have been out. One more time. I tried calling out to her one more time, just to put my concerns at ease. I felt like I'd seen even more suspicious if I stayed silent. Miss Yui, it's Mochida. Still nothing. Maybe she was asleep on the other side of the door. Let's just have a little look-see then. Wait. Shaking my head fiercely, I cast out that sudden impulse. That was a terrible idea, pure and simple. Entering the apartment unannounced was bad enough, but walking all the way in, opening that sliding door and peeking inside, that was just too much. Man, Miss Yui happy to come home and find me standing here. I'd be in pretty hot water, huh? Not really. You could just say, I tried to get in, or I tried to call you. You left the door open. Here's the papers. No, scratch that. I'd be in plentiful, dense, scalding water. Monet mewed as if in agreement. Panicking, I once again surveyed. Just put the paper and leave, then. I almost felt like their eyes were on me, staring at me with disdain. But of course, nobody was there. Huh? Oh, right. I could just leave a note. Wondering why I didn't think of this sooner, I dug in my bag for some paper and a pen. Mr. Yamazaki asked me to come by. That should be enough, right? I'll just use some notebook paper. Let's see, Miss Yui. Crouching the doorway, I ran my pen across the page. I brought class notes at Miss Yamazaki's behest. Everyone has been worried about you. Sorry about barging into your apartment. Please don't forget to lock your door from now on. As soon as I was writing the note, I sensed a presence in front of me. Until just a moment ago, this house had been no signs of human life in it. But now I could feel someone standing directly ahead. Standing and looking down at me. Huh? Fidgeting nervously, I put down my pen. Raised my head slowly. And saw a white, slender ankle. Oh no, she's just sick. She doesn't look so good. Shocked, I shut my head up and there standing before me was Miss Yui. Miss Yui? She was looking right at me, but she seemed decidedly out of sorts. Her hair looked disheveled, her gaze was unsteady, and her pajamas were in complete disarray. She was like a completely different person from the usual kept educator we'd come to know and love. Miss Yui, I'm sorry to have entered your apartment without permission. Here. I stood up frantically and held up the notes I'd been writing. But... Huh? Miss Yui was just standing there, stupefied, with a completely vacant expression on her face. Miss Yui, you're not dying, are you? I called out to her as gently as I could. But... she was really dazed. She almost seemed like a ghost. Miss Yui, what happened to you? I had an uneasy feeling. Worried, I walked up to Miss Yui, grabbed her shoulder, and tried to snap her out of it by shaking her. But instead... she's sick. This just seemed to make her cough. Hey, Miss Yui. These were wet, productive coughs, and spit was shooting out of Miss Yui's mouth with each one. Frankly, I tried to shield my face from the spray, but my reaction time just wasn't quick enough. Ew. My hand to her cheek and found it thick with a slimy film of saliva. You okay, Miss Yui? Miss Yui hobbled back a little and fell to her knees with a thud. She had completely sprawled out in the hallway, moaning and groaning the whole time. Miss Yui? Wiping the splutter from my own face, I leaned over and took a better look at hers. It was bright red. Strained breathing, a stuffy nose, and a visibly high fever on top of all of it. She was sick as could be. Yeah. I'm cold. Cold, but you're dripping with sweat. I think I would have preferred the tooth episode. It's cold. I thought maybe her sweat had cooled her down, but I realized her disheveled pajamas certainly weren't doing her any favors. With her heart pounding a mile a minute and face red as traffic light, I sit up buttoning her up. Oh, okay, I was about to panic. Miss Yui, you know who this is, right? It's Mochita from school. If you're cold, you need to sleep under your covers. Otherwise, you won't get any better. She absent-mindedly extended her arms like a zombie, slowly reopened her eyes, and looked up at me. It was the gaze of a severely fevered mind. Miss Yui, Tsukasa. Huh? Oh, this is the fan service episode. Who? Miss Yui was clinging to me tightly. I couldn't move. I was frozen in shock. She began to weep. Who's Tsukasa? What a lovely surprise. I'm so glad you're here. Miss Yui, wait, you got the wrong person. It seemed like I wasn't getting through to her at all. The sensation of her chest, oh great, as she held me was making it virtually impossible to fight her grip. Coward. I was utterly powerless against this opponent. I never realized before just how soft a woman's chest really was. Satoshi. She's your teacher. God, am I that weak-willed? Yes. I had to remind myself that Miss Yui had me confused with someone else. Mustering all the strength I could, I gripped her arms and tried to pry them off me. But she was a lot stronger than I anticipated and wouldn't let me go. I was so scared, Tsukasa. I was so scared. Scared. Never thought you'd actually come. He didn't, though. As she squeezed me tightly, I felt as though my upper body might collapse under the pressure of her softest part. That's not how... whatever. I was blushing uncontrollably. Miss Yui, please let go. You're killing the Satoshi. No, I won't. Come on, Miss Yui. I struggled to wriggle free, but Miss Yui only gripped me tighter. Our bodies were getting more and more entwined. And every time I scored, Miss Yui would just pull me in even closer. Tsukasa. Ew. As her chest rose and fell erratically, droplets of sweat slid down into her cleavage. That's gross. I could feel the heat of her fever radiating off her steadily encroaching face, as well as the shoulders I grabbed in an effort to push away. Stay away from me, Tsukasa, please. I'm telling you, you got the wrong person. Questions were swirling around in my head. Why was Miss Yui crying, and who was the Tsukasa person? But I was most concerned for the state of her pajamas, which seemed to be even more disheveled during our struggle. Miss Yui, your pajamas, your pants. They're sliding down. Tsukasa, you're so warm. Put some pants on, Miss Yui. Miss Yui, please. Realizing that not a single word was getting through to her, I sighed resignedly. I'd taken care of Yuka any number of times when she caught a cold and drawn a fever, but I don't recall it ever getting this bad. Misui's was usually calm, collected, rational. Who would have ever imagined that a fever could leave her so thoroughly discombobulated? What a fun word. Missouri, seriously, pull yourself together. Put more strength into my resistance, and finally her arms relaxed just the tiniest bit. But her expression changed drastically. No, no, please. Miss Yui, I'm Satoshi Machida. This is not the Suka. Please don't go, please. Yui's acting like a spoiled child. Throw her in the shower, give her some clothes, throw her under the bed, she'll be fine. Slipping out of the shoes I'd still been wearing, I again drew close to the sprawled out form. Drag her. There was no way I could just leave her like this. I mean, you could. Just call the doctor. Sure, if none of this seems too sketchy after your fever breaks. Miss Yui let out a lethargic groan, perhaps in response to my quiet murmuring. At my wit's end, I grabbed hold of her and did my best to carry her into the back room. Gently wheeling her over to her unfurled futon, I carefully laid her down, making sure I didn't drop her in the process. Then there was the matter of rebuttoning those pesky, but just throw the blanket over her. I hesitantly pulled up her pajama bottoms and brushed away the stray hairs that were plastered to her brow with sweat. I did my best to avoid seeing anything I shouldn't, but I am a guy, so my heart was pounding the whole time. Miss Yui's pajamas were soaked through with sweat. She really might have been better off with a change of clothes altogether. But no, that would have been going way too far. Wish I could find a towel or something so I could at least wipe some of this moisture away. This is supposed to be a horror game. Noticing a convenience store bag carelessly tossed on the floor, I glanced inside. Hey, she already bought cold packs. What's a cold pack? Why wasn't she using them? Jeez. Missouri, this might be a little cold, but bear with me, okay? Alright, I think that'll help. Placed one of the compresses on her forehead and pulled the cover over her. Missouri appeared almost instantly relieved. She exhaled contentedly and her breathing became much more relaxed. Finally, she was asleep. Easy. Even in sleep, Miss Yui seemed to be suffering. Oh, Monet, were you worried about your master? At least the cat looks normal now. I don't blame you. When Miss Yamazaki said she was sick, I had no idea it would be this bad. Monet curled up on my legs without me noticing. I began absent-mindedly speaking to him. He mewed in response, and our conversation ended there, as my gaze was still fixed squarely on Miss Yui. So, what do I do now? Miss Yui? Just leave. You okay to be alone right now? She wasn't in any condition to respond. But, Miss Yui? Miss Yui's hand had slipped out from under the futon and was gently grasping my pant leg. Hey. She's got me by the ankle. Her grip was much weaker than before. But I knew I'd probably regret it if I went home now. Miss Yui just seemed really lonely. Oh, guess I'll settle in then. Well, disturbing Miss Yui's hold on me, I took a seat beside her. For the time being, I figured I'd watch over her and make sure her condition didn't worsen. Occasionally, Miss Yui's breathing would become ragged and she'd furrow her brow. Are you getting a dream sequence soon? She's in pretty bad shape. In a pretty bad way. Poor thing. Wasn't there anything else I can do? Glanced quietly down the hallway. Make her some soup? I noticed when I carried Miss Yui that the kitchen near the entrance was perfectly neat and tidy. There wasn't any indication it had been used that day at all. Wonder if she's eaten anything. Get her an orange. Monet's gift shit suddenly. I followed it and saw pet bowls laid out in the corner of the room. One dish was filled to the brim with water, and the other was piled high with dry cat food. I see someone's eating well around here, huh? Even delirious with fever, she's still taking real good care of you. But that's not good, Miss Yui. You should be thinking about your own meals first. Shook my head the whole situation, then glanced down at the Monet, who was tilting his head as if trying to understand me. I broke into a wry smile. When I pulled out the cold packs, I did notice some cheap convenience store food in the bag as well. I guessed that was going to be your food for the day. Not exactly the best stuff to eat when you're sick. There's rice and eggs, at least. Maybe I'll make some egg porridge or something. Miss Yui, may I borrow your kitchen? Her face was bright red, and her half-pained, half-content noises provided me with no clear-cut answer to my question. Don't think I'm going to get much more out of her. How about you, Monet? Do I have your permission to use the kitchen? Excellent, thank you. Monet's cry stopped assuage my guilt over entering a woman's apartment and borrowing her kitchen. Not that I had any reason to feel guilty. I don't think, anyway. I mean, circumstances were what they were. Still, I had this nagging sense that I should have somehow felt bad with what I was doing. Excuse me, please, Miss Yui. I'm gonna need to get up. One by one, I gently peeled off each of the fingers latched onto my pant leg. The expression on her face changed as I was doing so, from content rest to mild annoyance, but there was nothing to indicate that she might wake up. Alright then, let's see what we can do, shall we? I stood up, Monet mewed happily, and began tagging along my heels. Ew. Miss Yui, now resting herself in the bedroom, let out a sudden sneeze. There we go, Book of Shadows, Episode 3, Encounter. At you. Eek. Come on, Yui. Gross, I just got sprayed. Sorry, I got a real tingle in my nose today for some reason. Ugh, honestly. Tissues, where did I put them? I think these names are some of the names from the first game of some of the corpses. But they went from this. She went to the same school as everyone else, so that doesn't make any sense. Oh well, did I get that much on you? Here's one of mine. Use one of mine. It's the least I can do. Great, don't mind if I do. What, she was talking to me. May I have one too, please? Let's see. Here we go. Hey? You guys really should keep extras with you, you know. Well, sorry. Honestly. So what were we talking about again? You remember, we were talking about what it's like to be seniors now. Oh, I know, right? Can it really be just one more year before we graduate? Well, graduation is important. Don't forget there's life afterwards to think about as well. Huh? Our careers. No, I don't want to think about that. Well, there's a reason we've been subjected to all these career counseling sessions, and it's because our futures are just big question marks right now. No kidding, what are we going to do about our lives? It's scary. Any ideas, Yui? You don't have any plans for the future? Or do you have? Actually, I've got it all figured out. What? Well, don't leave us hanging out with it, girl. Well... My name is Miss Yui Shishido. I'm 17, and my dream is to be a teacher. Wow, you look vaguely like Naomi, just smaller boobs. But I butt into the lives of others without a second thought, and I spend most of my time doing nothing important. But I believe that even someone like me can make her dreams come true with enough hard work. Kisaragi Academy 5 years ago. Cherry blossoms were in bloom, and the rustling wind carried it with the soft warmth of the season. I was a high school senior now, and was devoting myself to my studies in preparation for the day my dream could become reality. And that dream was to become an English teacher. I guess. My grades were on the fence for getting into the university I wanted, though. So my best bet was to score a special recommendation from the academy. Woo, that was a lucky break. When I called to the office, I had no clue what it might be about. After school, one day, I was summoned to the teacher's staff room. I was freaking out that maybe I failed or my grades weren't good enough for the school I wanted to go to, or something terrible like that. But it turned out my fears were all for naught. You have no rival in our academy, they said, so if you keep working hard, we'll be happy to give you a recommendation. Then that was ever a pick-me-up. I feel like I could take on the world now. I'm gonna have to make sure I don't let that chance slip me by. So, this trash can. Was it exactly so ridiculously heavy again? Carrying this beast to the dumpster is going to be the death of me. Hey. Your hair is ridiculous. Hmm? Turning around, still holding the garbage can, the voice belonged to a male student I had never spoken with before. I'd seen him around a lot, though. His name is... Oh, this is Tsukasa. Mikuni, from Class 7. Watch your step. There's a root sticking out of the ground, and it's pretty easy to trip on. Rude? Hey, what's the big idea laughing at someone else's misfortune? Well, it's... It's not funny. Shouldn't you be asking if I'm okay or something? My bad, my bad. You don't have to help clean up. You'll get your hands dirty. Don't worry about it. It's the least I can do after laughing like that. Thanks. No prob. That should be everything, right? Yep, looks like it. Cool, let's go then. Huh? He's taking my garbage can. I remember it well even now. That's mine. This was my first time talking with Tsukasa, and he left a strong impression on me. That's really kind of you. Isn't it heavy, though? Not especially. I'm the one assigned to take it. Maybe I should... It's fine, really. There, everything's in its place. Thank you so much. You were a huge help. Catch you around. Hey, hold up. I feel like I should do something nice for you in return. Don't worry about it. Your thanks is plenty. Look, just wait here a second, okay? Huh? Making a new friend is always great, but when it happens to be Tsukasa Mikuni, it's all the better. He's kind of been in my mind for a while, but you didn't talk to him before. There we go. Most of the times I've seen Tsukasa before this were in the school courtyard. He spent a lot of time there sitting alone on a bench. Even after school or during summer vacation, if I ever happened to pass by, I would always see him there. And after this little encounter, we'd go on to make many fond memories together. Oh. Yet somehow this image of Tsukasa that stands out most in my mind is him seated alone on that courtyard bench. For you, I hope Cafe Ole is alright. Sure, I guess. Anything's fine, really. Thanks. You know, it's complimentary to receiving a gift. When receiving a gift, to quietly accept it without any offhanded remarks. Well, aren't you a stickler for tradition? Hee hee hee. We walked to the bench together, sat down, and began making small talk. The courtyard bench was a sort of mystical place. The leaves rustled over your head, and if you closed your eyes and opened your ears, it felt as though you were in the middle of some forest. Okay, well, considering where we are. And then if you looked straight up, the sunlight poured in through the leaves, and you almost felt like you were in another world. This is the first time I've ever sat on one of these benches. It's pretty nice, right? It is. It's lovely. Haha, yeah, it really is. Oh, so is that why? Huh? Well, you come here an awful lot, like even after school or during summer vacation. I sure do. So you must really like this place then, huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Well then, there we go. The leaves rustled as a gentle breeze blew between us. We were both silent for a bit, but strangely, it didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable. So aren't you going to ask? Ask what? What I'm always doing here by myself or something. Well, you're always here because you like this spot, right? Well, yeah. To some other reason, then? Not really. So what would be the point of me asking? Well, you got me there, but people normally ask me if it's boring being here sit by myself, or tell me they don't really get it, or say I'm a weirdo or something. And you probably are, but that's just how you're a character. Really? I don't know, I guess. I just don't think of it that way. The way I see it, if you like it here, then why not come here whenever you can? Guess that makes you the weirdo, then. Huh? Hey, don't make that face. Coming from me, that's a compliment. What? Calling someone a weirdo is supposed to be a compliment? You bet it is. I'm not sure I buy that. Hee hee hee. You're mean. The expression on Sukasa's face was a dead giveaway that he really enjoyed talking to me. Then what happened? Because he's not around. And I've always loved the feeling I get when I know my words have helped brighten someone's day. Must have been sporting one hell of a goofy smile at that moment. Actually, there's a place at the school that I like even more than here. Oh, where is that? I'm not telling. What? It's my special place. Which means it must be a totally awesome place, right? Yep. Oh, I really want to see it. Come on. Ha, no way. I can't spill the beans that easy. Besides, the view there isn't nearly as consistent. Laughing, Tsukasa finished up his drink and grabbed the now empty trash can he carried to the dumpster for me. You treated me to coffee, so please, allow me to take this up to the classroom for you. Wait, are you sure? You bet. Thanks, I'm in class 4, if I'm not mistaken. You're the famous Yui Shishido, after all. Huh? How did you... You're the girl who already looks like she could be a teacher. I don't think there's a student in any of our 12 classes who doesn't know your name. What? From then on, Tsukasa and I met in the courtyard many times. We didn't really talk in the halls, but something about the place spurred our conversation. Cafe au lait again? Yes. Doesn't that get a little old? Not really. You drink at least 2 a day, though, right? Hey, how'd you know that? Seen it with my own eyes. There's a perfect view of the vending machine from here, after all. There is? Yeah, I mean, it's right there. Oh, wow, no kidding. Doesn't matter if it's school or summer break. Shishido buying coffee au lait is like Old Faithful. You see it, you can set your watch by it. Well, then I guess we're even, since I always see you sitting on this bench. What, you back on that again? Sure am. I guess I just gotta find it interesting. I guess I find it interesting that we both noticed of each other's quirky habits. Huh, weirdo. She's flirting, you dork. Our conversations in the court were usually just silly. It was like talking to a good old friend in class. Shallow, but genuinely adorable and genuinely enjoyable. It's always so cool here, even in summer. No, don't mention summer. Why? Don't you like it? Now it's summer school right around the corner. That'd be enough to make anyone run for the hills. I guess so, but we're seniors now. It comes with the territory, you know. The time for fun and games is over. But I don't know, you seem like you're still having a lot of fun to me. Well, I'm a bit of a special case. I'm just happy because I feel like my dream might actually come true. Oh. I just enjoy teaching things to people and having others depend on me. Why's that? Guess it makes me feel like I'm a big sister or something. And since I'm an only child, you know. Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that then. Well, that was about as dismissive as a comment as you can get. Hey, it's not like I can do anything about it, you know. Despite his occasional boorishness, I felt that Tsukasa was a kind soul. If nothing else, he never laughed at my dream. In the high school crowd, most people don't take you very seriously when you're trying to become a teacher. Tsukasa just wasn't like most people, I guess. Okay, so where this is leading. The season was quickly turning to autumn. At the school they entered, the seniors' floor was always a lot more quiet than its underclassmen counterparts. Everyone was off studying hard at the library or with tutors. So one day, thinking no one was else around, I sat down in a lonely corner of the hallway. Initially, I grabbed my shoes and left their classroom intending to head home, but among the way I just started crying. I was overwhelmed. My sobs echoed from one end of the hall to the other. Why are you crying? That day, I had finally received a special recommendation to my top university. I was so excited I wanted to tell someone, so I told my friend Tomoe, but a usually supportive demeanor took a somewhat harsher edge. Quit ripping into my face. You know I'm so totally undecided about my future, right? That's rude. My expression must have changed pretty drastically. Tomoe's eyes suddenly widened and she quickly apologized. So I smiled until I didn't care. That's what I said, anyway. But how could I not care? Tomoe's dismissive words struck me like a dagger to my chest. someone's sensitive sometimes. No, your friend is just kind of a jerk. It's not your fault she can't figure it out. What if everyone else feels the same way about me? I kept wiping my tears from my eyes, only for new ones to take their place immediately. This is not very scary, though. Why didn't I think of this sooner? So many people were still facing uncertain futures with no real goals in mind, and I was completely oblivious to it. I was the one with the dream, running around like the cock of the walking around like the cock of the walk? Okay? And babbling about my successes and aspirations. I wouldn't blame them if they hated me. Someone that insensitive to the feelings of so many other people, really become a teacher. Did I ever even have what it takes to begin with? Shishido? Quickly turned toward the voice that had called, turned out to be Tsukasa standing there. We never said a word before when passing each other in the hall, but he spoke to me that day with no reservations, as if we were old chums. Tsukasa. Your face is a mess. Do you have a handkerchief? Yeah. Then wipe your face. Okay. Tsukasa's concern and confusion were clearly written on his face. I didn't want to cause him any trouble or worry him, so I began frantically wiping my eyes. Did something happen? No, everything's fine. You're crying an awful lot for someone who's got no problems. No, it's just there was a little misunderstanding between a friend and I. But we patched up right away, so it's all right, really. There's just, something like tears of happiness, I guess. Yep, see, I just found that I got recommend. I'm not sure if I did it out of respect for Tsukasa or just because I wanted to change the subject, but I cut off myself mid-sentence. I was doing it again. What was I thinking? Not even Tsukasa was going to hate me. Not even Tsukasa was going to hate me for being a braggart. Hell, I hated myself. I was worse. Just the worst. But, well, really. He was happy for me. A bit taken aback, I nodded firmly. You did it then. Congrats. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Just with the waterworks. Even with the recommendation, you still have to take the entrance exam, right? Yeah. So isn't it a little early to be crying tears of joy? Yeah, maybe so. I just was really happy that you congratulated me. Oh, come on now. Sorry. For what? You're crying like this without even knowing why. You know why. I don't know why you're doing it. Then how are you about to hurry up and dry those eyes? Sure, I think I'm fine now anyway. I swear. So up my swollen eyes, a smile broke through. Tsukasa let out an exasperated sigh. Then, as if suddenly remembered something, his eyes lit up. Oh, hey, wait here a sec. Okay. Tsukasa ran to his classroom, quickly reappearing in the hall again just moments later. He was holding something. Here, I want you to have this. A pencil. His outstretched hand rested a short, stubby little pencil. Not the sort of thing you'd expect from someone to go out of their way to lend you. It was pocketed here and there with small scratches, but it was still seemed to be in relatively decent shape considering how obviously well worn it was. A pencil for guaranteed success. Guaranteed success? What? Use it on your test and you'll pass for sure. What, really? Yep, they told me I'd never pass the entrance exam for Kisaragi Academy, but well, here I am, and I owe it all to this pencil. Is this the same pencil you're using back when you took your high school application test? Sure it is. Sure is. It really jerked out a miracle. And I assume you mean worked out a miracle, right? Not that's this thing either. Yeah, that. At any rate, I shall happily take you up on your kind offer. Thanks. But listen, I'm only lending it to you to give you back once you finish your test. You have to give it back afterwards so I can use it for my entrance exams. Okay. Whatever you do, don't fail the exam. Right. I took the pencil and nodded, smiling. This time Tsukasa returned my smile. You're a real unique person, you know. It's hard to believe how much you let other people's problems get to you. You make you an amazing teacher someday. Well, it did need to add that part. What? Ramona had no idea what he was talking about, but then it hit me. Tsukasa had somehow sussed out from our conversation that I was crying because I upset Tomoe. He was turning that fact around to offer me encouragement. Good luck. Don't let it get to you. Maybe you should be a teacher. Flutter? I heard you shouldn't wish someone luck in times of stress, but it adds just more pressure. That's why people tell actors to break a leg instead. But I didn't care. Tabu will know I cherish his kind words. I'll do my best, Tsukasa. Glad to hear it. That was when I started to fall for him. But it didn't really seem like he noticed, or there wasn't really indication that he felt the same way, anyway. I can still clearly recall the events of that day even now. It was October, the day before my entrance exam. The weather outside had been miserable since morning, and visibility was all but non-existent. It would be a bad omen if I were to slip and fall on the day before the exam, so I decided I'd wear boots to school, just to be safe. See you later. Huh? When I opened the door, I was shocked to see a white-haired woman lying down the ground soaked to the bone. Call. What's the number for Japan? 9-something-something? 119? Frantically rushed over to her side. Are you okay? Stay with me. Come on, tell me what happened. Was it a hit and run? Road running by my house was narrow and mostly used only by our neighbors. But it's not like it was closed off to the outside traffic or anything, so a hit and run wasn't out of the question. Looked over to the old woman's body as best I could. Fortunately, there was no signs of any serious injury. Doesn't seem like a car accident, at least. Young lady. Hi. Yes. You must not go to school today. Huh? You absolutely must not go. Huh? The old woman raised herself up slightly and spoke hoarsely. In the tone in her voice, she seemed terribly desperate. But I have to. Today's my last chance to practice for a college entrance interview. No, just stay home. Don't go. I have to go. The interview is the part of the exam I'm worst at. Please tell me what's wrong. Where is your family? Will I? You go no matter what? Yeah. In that case, please. Not knowing what to say, I nodded apprehensively as the old woman began digging through her pockets. She produced what looked to be a crumpled sheet of paper. As she was digging around, I noticed that her breathing had become dangerously ragged and began considering my options to assist her. Really, I should have gone back into the house and called my mom. But there was something about her that kept me glued to the spot. I sensed desperation hiding in that broken gaze. You must take this. What is it? A charm. Charm? The old woman clenched her wrist and forcibly pressed the scrap of paper into my palm. Tilting my head, I unfolded the scrap and looked carefully at it. First, I thought I'd been handed a piece of trash. What? It was when I folded the paper all the way that I saw there was actually a paper doll in the shape of a human being. There's a name written on the torso. Yui Shishido. Yes, my name, written plain as day in easily legible brushstrokes. Why is my name on it? So it can protect you. Oh, it's like a proxy doll. So, like, if I get hit or something, it takes my place. Huh? If you don't write the name of the person you wish to protect, the charm won't work. Crazy. This was all crazy. I didn't understand it, save for one simple fact. This old woman here was here specifically to give me this strange paper charm. As far as I was aware, we were total strangers to one another, but she clearly knew both my name and my address. No. I'm sorry. I know you came a long way to give me this, but I don't want it. You don't want it? I set my arm to the paper dog and sensed her exterior demeanor had changed. She raised her body up steadily from the wet asphalt. Why not? Well, I nearly killed myself to bring this to you. Why will no one listen to me? You must not enter Heavenly Host Elementary School without this charm. Heavenly Host Elementary? Yes, you must not go. Don't go. Someone cried out. The paper doll fluttered lightly to the ground. Almost instantly, it began soaked through with rainwater. My name began to run and quickly turned into a legible black smudge. Seeing this, the old woman grabbed and tore at her hair. No, the charm. The way out has been lost. Oh, ma'am, please calm down. Listen, you must not go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I think there's been some mistake. My school is Kisaragi Academy High. I've never even heard of Heavenly Host Elementary. Ma'am? Ma'am, please. Oh, God. Mom, come quick. What's wrong? An old woman collapsed in front of our house. Call an ambulance. Okay. Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes. The old woman seemed to be unconscious by that point, however, so the EMTs brought out a stretcher. Do either of you know this woman? No, she just collapsed in front of our house. We'd never seen her before. Alright. Would you be willing to ride with her in the ambulance? The idea of making this woman go to the hospital by herself seemed just like it would have been a shameful thing to do. Sure, she was a stranger, but we had a lengthy conversation mere moments ago, so I couldn't very well say she had nothing to do with we had nothing to do with one another. You need to get to school. What? But don't worry, I'll go with her to the hospital. You have to practice for the interview today, right? Yeah, I guess I do. Thanks, Mom. I'll leave her with you then. Good luck. I was a little hesitant, but I knew I would really have to go to school today, no matter what. So I left the strange woman in my mom's care, and heading towards school, walked right by her stretcher. Good. Suddenly, a hand rose from the limp form of the old woman, grabbed my skirt. Startled, I tried to jump away, but I found myself ensnared by her terrible bloodshot eyes. You must not go. Smack that hand away. After school, once my final practice interview had concluded, I reunited with my friends and engaged in the usual regime of gossip and small talk. Can you believe that? That's really scary. The hell is wrong with her? When I described the events of this morning, everyone's eyebrows rose. They were hanging on my every word and yelping in unison at any key moments. Yui, maybe you should have stayed home after all. Well, I had the practice interview. I couldn't miss it, you know. I just hope nothing bad happens. Oh, come on. What could happen? Oh, you know what? Huh? When you mentioned Heavenly Host Elementary, I thought it sounded kind of familiar, and I realized why. You know the 7 Wonders, right? 7 Wonders? You mean those urban legends about Kisaragi? Yeah, those. Does Heavenly Host Elementary have some connection to them? One of the stories is called Yoshi After School. Ever heard of it? Yoshi. Definitely not. I've never heard of it either. What's it about? Well, it takes place at Heavenly Host Elementary, which was once occupied the same plot of land where Kisaragi Academy now stands. Oh, okay. It said that one day after school, a female teacher who had been patrolling the grounds slipped and fell down the stairs and died. The accident took place on a rainy October day just like this one, occurred just after 7 at night. Supposedly, Yoshi still appears on days like this. Ever unaware that she died at Heavenly Host these many years ago, she now walks the halls of Kisaragi Academy, believing them to be her own. Oh, come on. It's not true. Or is it true? Maybe. Well, I wouldn't be one of the 7 Wonders if someone hadn't actually seen it happen, right? That's really creepy. Why don't you go head home, Yuri? You're the only one who doesn't live nearby, so we can't walk with you. Given the stuff that old woman said with you. Yeah, it's always best to heed the warnings of the elderly. You might be right. I still got a feeling I'm kind of on edge. Probably best I go home and check in with Mom. I'll see you guys later then. Bye. See ya. Take care. Give it everything you've got tomorrow. I will. Quickly packed up my things and rushed out of the classroom. It was already about 5. It was getting dark out, but if Kana's story was to be believed, I had until 7 before anything bad might happen. As I continued wending my way down the corridor, I just kept telling myself there's nothing to be afraid of. Even so, I felt like it took an extra long time to reach those shoe lockers. Man, I'm such a scaredy cat. Oh, hey, Shishida. Tsukasa. Heading home? What's with the big grin? It's nothing. Why don't we walk together at least part of the way? Sure, I don't mind. I guess. Great. When I looked at Tsukasa's face, my fear vanished, but for a moment. There were times when it was really nice to have boys around, I thought. But although, as long as he was by my side, nothing bad could happen. Is this a warning? Didn't hurt that I had a crush on him, of course. Haha. The rain had let up somewhat that morning, though it was still coming down. The two of us walked side by side, umbrellas held high. Tsukasa was talking and laughing excitedly the whole time, whereas I was probably coming off as preoccupied. I'm sure it was awkward. A vague sense of fear flickered inside of me, and it was making me extraordinarily self-conscious. I'm certain it must have been reflected in my behavior. Shishido? Hmm? You look kind of pale. Did something happen? Hey. Yeah, something scary happened. Something scary. Probably sitting really on edge, Tsukasa was staring at me with this look of abject concern on his face. I was a little relieved that he asked, though, and it felt good to tell him about what happened. I filled him in on all the details and explained how they related to Karana's ghost story. I did my absolute best to convey the dread I was feeling. But Tsukasa was, well... The Seven Wonders of Kisarage High, huh? Yeah. So you actually believe in that stuff? Sometimes I wish I could see the world through your eyes. What? Hmm? You don't think it's scary? It's weird, sure, but I wouldn't call it scary. And I wouldn't worry about that old woman, just what that woman said to you. I'm sure it's just coincidence. But would it be better not to dwell on it? Wouldn't it be better not to dwell on it either way? I mean, yeah, your encounter with her probably sensing it was kind of unsettling, but she was probably just a little off, you know? That's not the issue here. Huh? I wasn't asking you to solve my problems for me. Look, I just wanted to vent, okay? I just wanted you to listen. What do you mean? That's what I've been doing. No, not like that. I don't get it. Are you angry about something? Guys always do this. It varies from person to person, of course, but guys inevitably jump right into looking for solutions to your problems or giving you advice on what to do. As a result, girls often can't be totally honest with them, or don't want to be, at any rate, and are forced to just bottle up their feelings. I only wanted Tsukasa to share in some of my fears. If he was scared with me, that would have been enough. I didn't realize that then that Tsukasa was telling me not to worry about it. It was his own way of showing concern. I just thought he was brushing me off, and frankly that annoyed me. My mind flashed back over and over again to the face, those eyes, and the hoarse voice of that old woman. Amplified and distorted by the ghost stories, his image gradually darkened my mood. Maybe I was traumatized by the events I'd experienced, or maybe I was just frustrated and needed to lash out. I don't know. But for the first time ever, things had become decidedly uncomfortable between the two of us. Okay, well, this is for me. Right. Shishido. He called out to my name, and as I briskly walked away. I didn't really know why I was so angry or confused, but I did notice that his voice was tinged with concern. If anything should happen, feel free to contact me. I considered turning back for a second, but changed my mind and pushed forward in a huff, leaving him behind. Teenagers. I'm home. Yui, welcome back. Greeting at my door, my mother wore a somber expression. I could tell right away that something had happened. I stared at her with a scrunched eyebrow for an awkward long time before she eventually reluctantly opened her mouth to speak. About that old woman from this morning. Yeah? The hospital contacted me. She passed away a short while ago. No. I'm so sorry. You need to stay focused on tomorrow's exam right now, though. Yeah. We should put some pleasantness behind us. I'm gonna get dinner started, so how about you go get changed? Okay, I'll be in my room. I'll call you. I watched my mom work her way back to the kitchen. They wrinkled out of my shoes. My mood had darkened even more. Tsukasa's attitude was bad enough, but for that old woman to have died. Returning to my room, I couldn't muster the energy to do anything but collapse into my chair and sprawl on the desk. Last thing the old woman had said to me echoed again and again in my mind. I began wishing I'd taken her more seriously. Or at least taken the doll. I should have accepted the paper doll and thanked her. I should have reassured her I wouldn't go to Heavenly Hills Elementary. I mean, the place didn't even exist anymore, for goodness sakes. I was exhausted. It was a hell of a day, and I no longer even had the energy to move. I needed to change out of my school clothes, but still sprawled all over the desk, my eyelids drooped and closed. I was out. I awoke with a start. The air in my room had gotten noticeably cooler, and I was shivering. I must have fallen asleep. Rubbing my eyes, I glanced at the clock. The needles indicated it was 6:45. It's already this late? It was black outside my window, streaked with lines from the still pouring rain. Sure hope it's sunny tomorrow. Sunny for my exam. The weight of the weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, but I was still really nervous. Okay, I just need to make sure I'm ready for tomorrow. There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I wouldn't need tomorrow for my bag. That's the student ID needs to stay, obviously. Handkerchief, tissues. Gotta make sure I don't forget my exam ticket. Oh, and my pencil case. Huh? Oh crap, where's my pencil case? Did I leave it at school? His face suddenly went pale. Well, I shouldn't have been too concerned over writing implements. We had tons at home. But that case had the pencil that Tsukasa had given me for guaranteed success on my exam. I have to go get it. Can't you just wait until after 7? Hey, Mom, I forgot something at school, so I'm gonna go run back for a sec. What? But dinner's almost ready. That's okay, I'll be right back home. Alright, it's still raining though, so be careful. I will. That pencil was one thing I absolutely needed to bring with me on the test, and so, without hesitation, I ran back down to the road to school. I was sprinting so close to full speed that I could without slipping in the downpour. All the while, the numbers on my bedroom clock ran through my mind. 6:45, and if Kana Story was to be believed, Yoshie haunted the school building at 7. As soon as I arrived at the gate, I glanced up at the large clock adorning the schoolhouse. It was now 6:55. Yoshi after school. I went over the whole scenario in my head again as best as I could recall it. After classes on a rainy night in October, 7 at night. The woman somehow know this would happen. Get a hold of yourself, you. It's just some old campfire tale. I was talking to myself, reprimanding myself in an effort to quell the fear that was welling up in my pit of my stomach. There wasn't a soul to be seen on the grounds, but this time the students had all gone home. I wondered if any teachers were still even around. Fortunately, the lights were still on, and it was bright enough that I felt confident I could make it to the classroom without freaking out. Okay, just gotta run up, grab the case, and come right back down. I folded my soaked umbrella and left it on the rack by the school entrance, then changed into my indoor shoes. Then entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around. I guess I was right, nobody's home. Why are you looking if you're trying to hurry? My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. Ordinarily, the din of other students would drown out the noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late hour. I need to hurry, it's almost 7. Nervously sauntered through classes 3 or 4, picking up speed as it occurred to me to do so. The little woman from this morning, she passed away, okay. So, yeah. It's to play some, yeah. And supposedly it's to hear some, why you it's like the 4th time you've told us. Just grab your pencil case. Geez, what the hell's wrong with me? Why am I letting this bother me so much? Casa was right. I shouldn't dwell on this. Lightning flashed and thunder resounded with impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself. I just need to hurry up and get these stairs, grab the pencil case, get the hell out of this creepy building. No ghost should show up in the well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright lights. I absolutely need that pencil case for tomorrow's test. It's my good luck charm after all, and it's from Tsukasa. Picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for 3-4. Don't like that. Middle school is already pitch black. I guess there really is no one else around right now. And this hall feels longer today than it ever has before. Was it always like this? Can't imagine I'd ever be on time if it were. Turning my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway toward my goal, jumping out now and again whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kisaragi Academy was comprised of both a middle school and a high school, and this evening it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. It didn't help that my classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem like much farther away. When a building that's usually so full of life goes completely silent, it becomes such a lonely place. I swear I could hear every drop of rain. But isn't that wonderful? I was focusing on that scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then all of a sudden, I hear a faint noise as someone playing an organ. That just might be my imagination, right? I mean, it has to be. There's no way anyone would still be here practicing, right? Took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It was probably the sounds of just the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. It just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again, this time much more clearly. It was unmistakable. No, no way. I was paralyzed with fear. My heart... Just get your freaking pencil case. My heart was pounding as if it were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip. It's probably just some devoted member of the band or a teacher who's working late. I'm just being stupid. Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Someone must have just stayed late to practice, that's all. I can't get that dang ghost story out of my head. Took another breath and tried again to calm my overly jittery nerves. Anything can be scary if you think it is. I heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. My imagination was most certainly or definitely running wild. I'm almost there. I might as well just sprint the rest of the way. I decided to dash toward my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. Finally reaching the familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flickered on the lights. Alright, I made it. Now I just have to be absolutely certain I don't leave here without the pencil case again. Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out over thunder and lightning, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. 7 o'clock, huh? It was the appointed time when the ghost of the teacher I was supposed to be appeared, at least, according to the school legend. No undead educators here. I let a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. The lights were on both inside the classroom and out in the hall. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. The 7 wonders aren't real. I grabbed the pen case I'd come back for and shoved it into my pocket. Okay, mission accomplished. With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom and it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating. Such a strange feeling being alone in a classroom like this. I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard. Chances like this don't come around too often, after all. To me, the area behind the podium, from which teachers conduct their lessons, was like a sacred space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day, and I could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like this. Well, no one's looking. To my classmates, it seemed like such a silly, stupid dilemma. That didn't change the way I felt at the moment. Should I or shouldn't I stand at the teacher's podium? We really shouldn't. But let's stand at the podium. How could I pass this up? It's a chance to feel like a real teacher. I decided I had to try it. During the daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times. But this was the first time I ever had an opportunity to just stand there and prestige over the side of the classroom. So this is how it looks to be a teacher, huh? It's kind of awe-inspiring. Getting a teacher's point of view, in the most literal sense, was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This is where all my dreams would play out. Someday, I began to imagine the future that awaited me. Painstakingly detailing some new piece of knowledge for the students sitting attentively at their desks. Gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies. I sure hope I can make the cut one of these days. I was getting so excited that I even began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of these joyous, freeing visions and the prickling dread I've been feeling up until now, just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one of these two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. Huh? Crap, is that a blackout? Suddenly my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud. What awful timing. I instinctively grabbed hold of the railing where the erasers sat. I felt chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me. What's more, I can still hear the sound of the organ, but no, it's an electric organ. How is that even possible with no power? You must not go. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? That's impossible. She is no fortune teller or psychic as far as I was aware. How could she possibly have known this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or a psychic predicting the future is the stuff of science fiction. I shook my head. You say a lot for the fact one of your future classmates is going to be a medium. I need to calm down. Maybe it's just this wing that lost power. And the music room is still okay. That seems plausible, right? I curled my chalk dust fingers into a fist and suddenly tried to talk some sense into myself. I've got to get out of here. I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in and out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. Eck. I spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out of it with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing at the other desks around me for support. Oof. Damn, it sounds like I knocked a lot of stuff out of that desk. Guess I need to put everything back. Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing utensils. I can't tell what's what. This is so embarrassing. What the heck am I doing anyway? Wasn't I supposed to be hurrying home? Such a klutz. I let out a sigh, and I seem to be doing that a lot lately. Okay, this is a textbook, and this is a notebook, right? I was trying to take inventory of all the things I just knocked out of the desk, and I realized why. I might as well stand up and stuff it all back in. I couldn't possibly organize it properly in absolute darkness. Better just to apologize tomorrow to whoever sits here. Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would have served as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that would be the same as lying as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that. Okay, I think I got everything. I placed my hand against the floor and swept around, feeling for anything I might have missed. I found something, all right. Ew, gross, what is this? It's all slimy. Ugh. I clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. It wasn't a notebook or writing utensil, though. That's for sure. Why would anyone have something like this in their desk? Maybe I'd been on the floor all along. What is this stuff? Rubbed my sticky fingertip a bit deeper into the wet spot, then brought my head up close to my face so I could get a better look at what it was there. What on earth did I just touch? Eek. It was a flash of lightning almost immediately joined by a roar of thunderclap. And with it for a split second, the pitch-black classroom was lit up as bright as day. God, is that blood? I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I'd gotten a very good look at my fingers, and it really did seem as they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand, no. If my peripheral vision was to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained a deep crimson red. Crap, it smells like blood in here, too. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here injured? That isn't possible. It can't be. I mean, how? My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee. What? Why won't it open? No. Please, no. I remember locking it, and it isn't locked. So why can't I get it open? Pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard I felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge. Why, please? I was absent-mindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slamming my fist on a nearby desk with another. This was a nightmare. Please, no, what is going on? Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. Maybe make a paper doll scrap on your hair, you might as well. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart. Calm down, honey, you have to calm down. I'm probably just panicking because the door won't open. I'm sure I just misidentified whatever that was on the floor. I mean, it's preposterous, right? There's no way something like that could be. I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, it ended up being something totally random. Like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes. It has to be, yeah. I probably just brushed on someone's paint for art class or something. My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking. The door probably just has something caught in it, that's all. I decided to check out the hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determine if anything was jutting out from any of the cracks. Dang, not sure I can do this without being able to see. Fumbled around the where's your phone? I fumbled around the gaps in the door, but I just couldn't make anything out that would be doing the. I just couldn't make anything out that would be doing this. Oh, I was right. And the classroom rear exit seemed to have whirled away. Maybe there's another way out of here. You could use the window? A broken leg is better than death. No, this was the third floor. Couldn't get out of this classroom without exiting into the hallway. Let me out. I want out. Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through a hallway window. But the glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source. There's somebody out there. Then came the distinct clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps. Oh, of course, it must be the custodian. I recalled the existence of the custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I was sure he must have been taking a look around the school after the sudden power outage. Great, I'm saved. All at once, my fear-addled legs were gaining their strength. The nightmare would be over soon. Excuse me. I shouted to the custodian through the window, as loud as I could muster. Excuse me, I'm trapped in here. I had to be sure he heard me, so I shouted again. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However, something's not right about this. Perturbed, I took a step away from the window. If that's a flashlight, shouldn't it be brighter? It looks kind of like the faint, unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits. What was I thinking? Was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it looked like it was wiggling around in a very unnatural, very unflashlight-like way around. Yeah, I bit my tongue. And these footsteps. Clomp, clomp, clomp. 4 clomps in the 3 or so second intervals. Then another 4 clomps. They're sounding in a fixed rhythm. That's no custodian. Nobody walks like that. The fear was back, in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever it was, I was begged it for help. I literally invited it in. I need to hide, but where? Supply closet, teacher's podium. If this is Yoshie, she was a teacher. So... Supply locker? Hurriedly squeezed myself in the metal locker where the classroom's cleaning supplies were kept. It was still pitch black in the room, so I really couldn't spare the time it would take to remove its contents. Instead, I just contorted myself to fit. Ugh. The locker was thick with the smell of mold and varnish. If I hold my breath for just a little while, I think I might be able to be safe in here. So I waited. I waited for the footsteps to pass by and faded into the distance, signaling that it was safe to emerge. Whoever has had better hurry. I feel like I'm going to suffocate if I'm in here much longer. Still, it felt a lot safer in the locker than it did out in the room. The footsteps weren't receding. They were just getting louder, closer, faster. And then they came to a sudden halt. Huh? They were close, just outside the locker. I peered through the ventilation holes amongst the utter darkness of the classroom. There wasn't a soul to be seen. I'm okay, as long as I stay in here, I'll be fine. Not sure why I believed that. Maybe because I needed to. Maybe because it was so dark, because I felt so much calmer in such a tight space where nothing could possibly sneak up on me. I didn't know why, and I didn't care. I just knew that, as far as I was concerned, I was safe in here. As I stood motionless and cramped, and I waited. I didn't have to wait long. What was that? It sounded like a door locking. Suddenly apprehensive, I gently nudged the supply closet door, just to make sure it would still open for me when I wanted to. No, it's locked. Found you. Let a sudden yelp with the unknown voice and tried with all my might to push to open the door that was blocking my escape. Oh, I think we got a bad end. No, please, let me out. Is someone still here? You'll need to be punished for that. There's a brief moment of silence following the eerie voice's unsettling proclamation. And then, crash, crunch, the metal walls around me, all on the 4 sides, began wrapping inwards, as if the supply locker had somehow been fed into a trash compactor. Ah, what's going on? There was no force I could imagine that should have been able to do this, but it was happening. This already confined space was steadily closing in on me. It hurts, open the door, let me out. Crunch, crunch. The collapse of the locker all around me continued, slowly and steadily. I could feel all manner of things being pushed and cutting into my body. And my vision went brown. We didn't do very good. One of the blood vessels in my eyes probably burst from the pressure. It wasn't going to last much longer. The ventilation holes in the locker were now pressing right up against my face, and through them I could just barely make out the figure of a person. It was the old woman from this morning. She was standing just outside the slant, staring right into my eyes. The last sight I'd probably see is my fucker finally inevitably smashed into my skull. Crunch, crash, crack, splat. So when she said the place was a holy place, wrong end too. We should have probably done that. hurriedly hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees, curled up, and made myself as small as I could. What is this? What's happening? The footsteps continued to be drawn nearer and nearer. Clomp, clomp, clomp. Little by little, the sound grew louder. Every hair in my body was standing on end. Please just pass by, please. I held my breath, clasped my hands together, and silently prayed. Clomp, clomp, clomp. They were close now, very, very close. Please, God. Why was this happening? I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old one was trying to warn me about? Was this all that happened because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I heard the ghost story of Yoshi and allowed it to get to me? Did the strange events of that day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now? Feels like my heart is going to burst out of my chest. I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let the tiniest of sounds escape and give me away my position. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap. Consistent rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of these cycles. And it ended right in front of this very classroom. I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshi? Was this school's legend real? All I could do was close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. The footsteps didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshi, then she just stopped in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no concept of time anymore. I've stayed in my hiding spot for probably only a few minutes, but it felt like at least an hour. Maybe whoever it is gone. I had to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just far enough to get a glimpse of the room when suddenly... Footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were headed right for me, and they might have been inside the room. I honestly couldn't tell. I scrambled back in my hiding spot, covering my mouth with both hands. This was too much for me. My breathing was coarse and erratic. My face was a mess of tears and snot. God, please save me. I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth were they doing? It almost seemed like they were just running around in circles just to scare me. Stop it, please stop it. I mouthed these words over and over again. I moved my hands to my ears in a vain attempt to block out this torturous sound. And as if in response, the sounds changed. Eek. The loud, dull thud followed by silence. No more footsteps. I heard that sound hundreds of times before. It was a classroom door sliding open. Peeked out, but the door was still touched shut. How could that be? If the sound I heard wasn't the door, then what was it? What little safety I had felt was pretty much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. The prospect of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or try to make a break for it. Oh, jeez. Stay hidden. Keep hiding. If I pass by for sure, I'll be okay. But it only took a moment for the decision to come back and bite me. Body was suddenly weighed down. In an instant, without knowing what was happening, my fetal position was essentially locked in place. Oh, that killed me. It was like a boulder had fallen on top of me, and I was resting on my arched back. I twisted and shuffled myself around, trying to shake it off, but the more I struggled, the heavier it became. What's more, I felt like it was slowly inching its way up towards my head, as if it were planning on dropping down in front of my face. Was this a person? Guess who? It was a female voice, reverberating ominously as bubbling up from the depths of hell. I squirmed violently, desperately trying to throw her off me. Shall we play tag together? My vision went red, or at least it felt that way. Whoever was on my back had dug their razor-sharp fingernails right into my eyes. I could collapse on the spot. The pain was instantaneously and unbearable. I could no longer hold my position. I could no longer focus on anything but this agony. My eyes, my eyes. Bad children must be punished. The pain shot through my head in waves. It was indescribable, unthinkable. I couldn't take it any longer. My consciousness faded and I was gone. I would have never known what exactly happened to me, but maybe it was better off that way. So we have to make a break for it. What is wrong with these people and taking my eyes? Wrong in 3. Let's make a break for it. Staying in one place for too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out, as quietly as I could. But almost immediately I felt something. Tap. Something long and thin that struck me in the back of the head. Or rather, struck isn't the right word. There was little force behind it, but it wasn't a hard slam. More like someone trying to get my attention. Is that a wooden rod? No, it's a finger? I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever this was, so I turned around. And there, looming over me, was... Is someone still there? Eat. Go home, child. A figure was peering down at me from the podium with one emaciated, wishbone-like finger extending toward my face. I recognized this person instantly, no doubt about it. This was the strange old woman who supposedly passed away earlier. I was scared to get out of my mind. I tumbled out the rest of the way from under the podium and shot to my feet. A ghost! There really was a ghost in the school. My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my way, I ran as fast as I could toward the classroom door. But that was as far as I could go. What's wrong? Yeah. On the other side of the door, tied up against the glass, was the old woman. She was glowing bluish white, the source of the light from earlier. But how in the world did she get into the room before I did? How did she get out of the room so quickly and position herself so perfectly to block my exit? I felt like I was starting to hyperventilate and tried my best as I could to calm my breathing as my eyes darted around the room. I need to get out of here now, to get as far away from this place as I possibly could. The front door is blocked, maybe I can get out through the back. But if I do that, I can't leave the school without running right past her. There's no way she'd let me by, but I have to do something. My lip continued scanning the room. If I had something I could use to fight back. I didn't have the time to think carefully about it. I just had to grab something and hope for the best. There were two choices. I had to pick up one on impulse before it was too late. Bag of salt. She's a spirit. Looks like leftover salt from an old chemistry experiment. I've heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice. Okay, this is coming with me. I placed the salt in my pocket as sort of protective charm. I'm scared, but, well, here goes nothing. Oh. When I looked over, the spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the door frame. She was really trying to catch me. It wasn't just being paranoid. She was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced this had to be Yoshi, the teacher from the urban legend. No, I won't let her get me. Bracing myself, I darted toward the door at the back end of the hallway. There wasn't a moment to lose. If I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all. Threw the door open and began running at top speed, hoping to escape beyond the spirit's back. Unsurprisingly, trying to outrun a ghost seemed to be a fruitless endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at a breakneck speed to intercept. Stop. Don't come any closer. I thrust my hand in my pocket and threw the bag of salt, threw the entire thing directly at the old woman's face. She recoiled. Now's my chance. I ran down the hall as far as my legs would carry me, briefly glancing over my shoulder after a while to confirm the spirit was still writhing. Just kept running down the hall, down the dark hallway, with nothing but adrenaline and mortal fear to keep me going. I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall, then made a mad dash to the ground level. I was determined to get out of this building alive. Stop. Finally, still moving at top speed, I reached the window door leading outside. Almost there. I'm almost out. Luckily, the malevolent spirit hadn't caught up to me yet. I actually seemed I might be able to escape. I might actually survive this. I made it. I grabbed the handle and tried pulling it. Huh? No, it's not opening. Why I'm so close? Please open, I'm begging you. Think of something else. At this rate, that whole woman's going to... No, I can't let that happen. What do I do? What can I do? Run somewhere else, break the glass. Run somewhere else. No choice, I have to keep running. I have to find someplace else. Or maybe I could hide somewhere and throw Yoshi off my trail. I had no particular decorous restoration in mind. Maybe only my thoughts were anywhere but here. But after maybe 30 seconds, I found myself in the second floor hallway. There's an outside corridor connected to the first two buildings of the school there. And it was the first alternative escape route to come to mind. Naturally, it was walled off from the other side for safety purposes, but the wall wasn't so big that I couldn't scale it in a pinch. I didn't really want to jump from the second floor of the school, but if I had to, I was confident that I'd at least survive with the fall with minimal injury. I should consider this as a last resort. For now, let's just get out of sight. I climbed the wall faster than I thought possible and dropped down to the narrow ledge on the other side. It was just wide enough to sit down. My back was in the hall, but my location should have been completely hidden from anyone inside the school. I looked down at the muddy ground below me. I really couldn't see much, though. The outside was completely dark, but it was so dark that it felt almost like the whole world had been draped in a black veil. Maybe I should have just stayed here until morning. I mean, even if I ran, I'm pretty sure I'd get caught. I opened the pencil case in my pocket and pulled out the pencil I received from Tsukasa. Tsukasa, please protect me. Was I really treating this stubby little pencil as a protective charm? Tsukasa said it would guarantee success on my tests, not ward off evil spirits. Still, it was better than nothing. I clenched it tightly in my hand and prayed. Please protect me. I whispered the words so quietly that I might as well have been mouthing them, but it seemed to be all the opening that damn spirit needed. I sensed a presence on the ledge with me, and it was so startled that I almost fell from my perch. No, please, why are you doing this? However, I could only sense her there. I couldn't actually see her, and thought for one brief moment that I might be letting my imagination run wild. Then I felt a horrible sensation of something coiling itself around my arm. You mustn't go outside. Eek. Before I knew it, a tall, shadowy figure had half emerged from the wall behind me, and she had me in her grasp. There wasn't much more to her than an indistinct, flickering silhouette, but I could clearly see she had a broken neck. Was this a different apparition? Her scraggly, root-like fingers were squeezing my arm with tremendous force, pushing aside muscle and tissue and pressing right on the bone. No, who are you? What are you? Where are you going, my dear? I'll just be a little longer, so won't you please wait for me? Oh, that hurts. That really hurts. I was shaking hysterically and tears were streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced that I was going to die here. Let go of me. Sachi. But offered no resistance. She was too strong. All I could do was plead with her. Stop, please. You're really hurting me. I felt like my arm would snap in two at any moment. Let's be together forever. She wasn't just grabbing, but twisting as well. The pain was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. I couldn't think about anything else. Stopping it had become my first and only priority. I struggled violently against the spirit's grip, ultimately breaking free by throwing my body off the wall towards the unseen earth below. In the face of death, everything really does seem to slow down. I'd read somewhere that this is because the brain is sending out all kinds of distressing signals or something. Slow motions or not, though, I was fully aware of my surroundings. It was cascading through the air just outside my school building. Reach out hands. Prey upon the pencil. This is a dream. Please let me wake up from it right now. Those words were echoing through my head as I clutched Soga's pencils tight against my bosom, like a prayer talisman. Moments later, I crashed into the ground, and a horrible squelching sound echoed in my ears. My neck was... Gasa's parents... Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Pierced into my throat. Blood was spurting everywhere. I was practically drowned in it. I was landed right on top of it, and I guess it wasn't long before I gasped my final last gasp. Pencil death. I worried about that, but, like, maybe? We're getting all the bad ends in this one. Wrong ending 5. Let's see what happens when we try to get our outstretched hands on here. I think it's just going to shatter our arms, but you know. Reach out my hands. I was pretty sure this fall would kill me. With a controlled jump, I might have been able to survive, but I was pummeling like a rag doll. I was a goner. Couldn't even remember what you were supposed to do in a stimulation like this. Try to fall over, brace for impact. In one last-ditch attempt at survival, I stretched out both my arms. Maybe someone would be waiting there to grab me. Maybe someone would save me. Someone actually did. I wasn't expecting that. I really should thought there was no hope, but then at the last second, I was yanked to safely. Shishido. Tsukasa. Are you okay? Oh yeah, don't let go. Right. I held onto his arms with all my might, and against my seemingly impossible odds, I was pulled in. My life was saved. This is like the scene of some anime. It shouldn't have happened, but it was too convenient. But I wasn't about to complain. That was close. Why, Tsukasa? No time to explain, we have to run. What? Tsukasa was still holding on to me tightly after coming to my rescue. Took off down the hall, back into the heart of the school, with me in tow. Damn it, what the hell was that thing? Please tell me I was just dreaming. He practically spit those words as he continued running. Why is Tsukasa here? I tried to match his gut, and once we were a bit more in sync, I looked up at his face. He was fast, and after we reached the end of the hall, he suddenly veered into the last classroom before the stairwell, pulling me in with him. Shido, you okay? I'm fine. I can walk for myself, really. Oh, sorry, my bad. The door from Tsukasa almost immediately spilled onto the ground like a house of cards. Whoa, you sure don't seem okay to me. Maybe not, but I just need a few. Ugh. Hey, don't push yourself. Tsukasa grabbed my arm to help me up, but fortunately it was the arm Yoshida had been twisting. Oh, sorry. Is it your arm that's hurting you then? Yeah, I don't know how bad it is, but it really stings, like it's on fire. Drape my other hand over the sore spot where I assume it was probably one hell of a bruise. Nope, 1 second. One second, guys. Sorry, guys, I had to check something. This thing was not working right. Okay. Tsukasa, what are you doing? Started rubbing gently, but it didn't help at all. That's not good. We should get you to the nurse's office right away and take care of it. But then we'll be exposing ourselves to that ghost again, right? Yeah. Just thinking about going back out there and facing Yoshie made me shudder. I couldn't believe he was even entertaining the idea. Don't worry. And if she does come to get us, I'll keep you safe no matter what, okay? Tsukasa. Tsukasa's gentle reassurance actually made me forget the pain in my arm for a moment. I had to stop myself from blushing, or try to at any rate. We need to treat your injuries as quickly as possible or they can get worse. The nurse may not be in, but I can at least apply first aid. Okay. Alright then, let's go. Tsukasa offered me his hand. I graciously took it, squeezing tightly as he led me back down the hall into the hall. Tsukasa's hand is so warm. Despite the fact that nothing had really changed, I was still in just as much danger as I had been. The paralyzing fear I'd been feeling was gone. If it was just me, I would have never been able to do this. I would have been frozen up. But with Tsukasa leading the way, I felt like I could do anything. Shishido, you okay to run? Sure. With my blessing, Tsukasa upped his pace significantly. Please don't let her show up. You're going to the nurse's office. She's going to show up. I prayed silently for smooth sailing as I followed Tsukasa's lead. As long as he's with me, I think I'll be okay. I gently squeezed his hand again, as if it were to reassure myself that he was still with me. I started to think that maybe Yoshie was gone, maybe we thwarted her, but of course, just as I was thinking that, she made her presence known again. The hell was that? Show yourself. An unclear voice reverberated through the dark corridor. I immediately drew myself into Tsukasa's back. Bring me more. Over Tsukasa's shoulders, I saw the same shadow-like spirit from before. Must have been waiting here to ambush us. It's alright, stay calm. But the ghost is mourning and wavering before us. We'd never be able to get past it. You'll do anything for me. Hey, Shishido. I'm gonna draw that thing's attention. While it's distracted, I want you to run. What? No, we'll run together. I've got a secret weapon. You what? It's a keepsake charm my grandfather gave me. When I pointed at that thing earlier, it definitely had an effect. The charm? Yeah. But Tsukasa, you're still putting yourself right in harm's way. Hey, I'll be fine. It'll all work out somehow, or it'll all work out somehow or another. That's not... Stay where you are. We really didn't have time to be arguing. It was closing in fast. And as it did, I noticed the spirit figure had become more defined. She was a tall, young woman, with her head turned sideways at a 90-degree angle. The tale of Yoshie suggests she fell down a flight of stairs, so a broken neck would certainly fit. Go, run. Back. He gave me back a shove and to get me started, and with no time to object, I unconsciously obliged. Tsukasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few short moments. Hey, ghost lady over here. Stop. Tsukasa. Tsukasa ran as close as he possibly could to get Yoshi's attention, then turned tail and began sprinting off in the opposite direction. Come on, get me, you monster. Amazingly, it worked. The spirit began chasing Tsukasa, leaving me completely unobstructed. This doesn't feel right. Should I really escape without him? I was torn. On the one hand, I knew this was my best chance, but I couldn't help worrying about what would happen to Tsukasa if his charm failed. I stopped for a moment and glanced over my shoulder. He was still running, and the shadowy figure was still in hot pursuit. Tsukasa, she's too close. You need to take out your charm. It's fine. I told you to keep going. Once you're out of harm's way, I'll be right behind you. I promise. I can't believe I fell for it, but this was right about when I realized the truth. Tsukasa had no protective charm. He just made that up so I wouldn't object too strongly to him serving as a decoy while I got away. No, I can't let him go through with this. I stopped in my tracks and shouted at the top of my lungs. Yoshie, hold it right there. I wasn't sure what exactly I was getting myself into, but I had to do something, and calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have an effect. That's right, I know your name. Shida, what are you doing? All at once, the black figure was facing me, though I'd never seen her turn around. She was flying toward me now, ignoring Tsukasa. I'm not scared, I'm not scared. Yes, you are. I repeated this like a mantra and stuck one hand in my pocket, grasping tightly onto one and only item I stashed in there. So you know who I am, then? Unlike him, I have a real protective charm. Tsukasa's care, his effort, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil. And when you got right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? So I squeezed the little nub thing in my pocket, mentally preparing myself for the confrontation ahead. The confrontation I impulsively initiated. Shida, you have to run. I won't. I absolutely will not. God, please protect me. Closed my eyes, lifted my head from my pocket, and brandished Tsukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this. I really, really hoped I hadn't made a mistake in doing this, though. My name is Yu Shishido, and my goal is to become teacher here at this school. I opened my eyes to find the shadowy spirit Yoshi had stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Tsukasa's pencil keeping this vengeful soul at bay? I don't need a replacement. Just die. Suddenly I was whisked off my feet and slammed against the ceiling. I could see him down below. He was staring up at me and desperately leaping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose, even though he knew he'd never reach. Tsukasa. I called out to him over and over again in my mind. If he could get away, if he could survive this ordeal, then it would all have been worth it. Yoshie was drawing near, and I was so helplessly pinned to the ceiling I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind that my life was over. I clung to the belief that I felt at Tsukasa's safety. It was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. Then all at once, the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle. Yoshi Shinozaki, stop right there. Before I had an idea what was happening, I found myself bathed in a gentle light. The woman from this morning? Sorry I wasn't able to protect you, but now, at least, the evil will spread no further. It was the old woman who had collapsed in front of my house. She was standing there below me, enveloped in a warm glow. The black shadow lunged toward her, then there was a horrific noise, and the old woman was gone. Shishido. Just like that, I fell to the ground. Whatever Yoshi had done to me, that woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she came to me this morning, and why she had come again now. I felt like I was going to faint. Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshi's spirit was gone. She vanished along with the light, and around us now, the only sound was the pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof. Hey, Shishido. Shishido? Tsukasa? I suffered quite a bump on the head from a fall and was decidedly disoriented, but I still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck. You idiot, didn't I tell you to run away? I'm sorry, it's just... I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you, is what I wanted to say. But instead I just passed out in his arms. I felt as though I was waking from a long, horrible dream. Hey, you okay? Shishido? Where are we? Man, how hard a fall was that? You're in the nurse's office, can't you tell? The nurse's office? It occurred to me to look at my surroundings, probably something I should have done before asking about them, but in my defense I was out cold. Beige walls, pink curtains. Those aren't beige, it's more like an ugly green. White beds with solid blue covers. This was indeed the school infirmary, no doubt about it. Why are you... A better question is why you're here. I found you passed out on the ground here, so I carried you in. Out where exactly? Geez, did you get a concussion or something? It was right by the school gate. The school gate, that's where you found me? Uh-huh, ring any bells? But I was trapped inside the school running from Yoshi, it wasn't? Oh, that's right, my arm. It's probably broken. Wait, is my arm okay? Huh, your arm? Was it a dream? No, it couldn't have been. I mean, it really hurt, and I really thought I was gonna die. Well, you're still a little out of sorts, but I'm glad you're safe at any rate. Guess you could say I had a gut feeling, maybe? Just got concerned to stop by your house, and your mom told me you'd gone back to school, so I came back to find you, and well, I found you. Tsukasa, Yes, there'll be time for things and such later on. Right now, there's something I gotta do, so hang on a sec. Okay. Where are you going, Tsukasa? I wanted to ask you about Yoshie. Shishido, glad to see you're awake. Ma'am. You gave us both quite a scare. Mikuni was pale as a ghost when he came to get me. Lucky for you, I was working late tonight. I'm so sorry to have troubled you. It's 9, of course, but you know, you were really moaning in your sleep. Were you having nightmares? Nightmares. Seems like you were. Miss Mikuni was worried sick about you. So it really was just a nightmare then. Maybe that scary story this afternoon was just too much for me. Are you feeling a little better now, at least? Yes. That's good. The nurse smiled cheerfully and disappeared behind the partitioning curtain. Laying on a side, I laid myself down on the bed once more. It was dead silent. The rain must have let up. The only sound I heard was an occasional cough from the nurse, who was otherwise going about her business quietly. Oh wait, what about the pencil case? I threw my hands into my pocket, not really expecting to find it, but... There it is. The pencil case was complete with Picasso's pencil talisman inside, was present and accounted for. Which meant that I made it to my classroom. Maybe it wasn't a dream after all. Hey. Oh, Tsukasa, welcome back. Still trying to remember exact details of what happened when I expectedly felt something cold pressed against my cheek. What are you? You were sleeping pretty restlessly, you know, and sweating an awful lot, so I figured you might be thirsty. Here, it's cafe au lait. Oh, thank you. Tsukasa went out of his way to buy this just for me. It was a lovely gesture. How could I possibly refuse? Hey, isn't tomorrow? I guess it's technically today now. But either way, don't you have an exam to take? What time does it start? At 9. So in 4 hours then. God, I don't even want to think about that right now. Not after the day I just had. I've been put through hell on earth. Taking a test was the furthest thing from my mind. I was in tears, and I had no idea why. Maybe it was because I was so relieved, so glad to be alive. Okay. Hey, Shishido, can you stand? Huh? The timing's just right, so I'm going to show you something good. Something good? Yeah, rather, it's something I really want you to see, if you're up to it. Sure, I guess. Are you going to show us the secret place? My nose was still running, but my heart felt a lot lighter. I no longer felt threatened by the school. I was comfortable and safe. Are they going to confess? 2 of us left the nurse's office with Tsukasa in the lead, and even though I was holding a cold coffee in my hand, it still felt warm all over. Neither of us said a thing as he led me through the empty halls. It occurred to me that when we last saw one another, I was mad at him. Look, Shishido, we're here. What, isn't just the hallway between the buildings? Just wait, you'll see it in a minute. See what? No idea what I was looking for. I just kept staring at him, but his eyes were fixed on the window leading out to the walkway. As I gazed upon his profile, I felt my heart to skip a beat. I have to apologize for what happened yesterday, but I wasn't sure what to say. I let my feelings get the better of me and reprimanded him for a behavior that was, at least at the time, entirely reasonable. There's more to it than that, though. There's one particular reason, more than any other, that it made it hard for me to think of the words to say here. He and I had run from Yoshie together. We escaped her wrath against insurmountable odds, and what if that wasn't all just a dream? Bingo, here we go. Huh? Followed Tsukasa's pointing finger and... Oh, that's beautiful. What an absolutely stunning sunrise. It's actually the sunset I enjoy watching most from here, but the sunrise is pretty great too. It's gorgeous. The whole town is painted orange. Looks like we're back in good spirits then. This is the place you were talking about, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. You've been keeping this spot from me all this time, so why now? Why are you showing it to me today? No reason, really. No reason, huh? I could think of a reason, but I didn't say anything. Just seemed kind of far-fetched to me, and if I were to misinterpreting him, I'd be very embarrassed. He couldn't possibly... Could he? My face kind of felt warm. I placed the sweaty cafe au lait can on my cheek and sighed softly. You feeling better? Your face is really red. What? Is it? You aren't still feeling faint, are you? No, nothing like that. It's just, yeah, it's the sun. Just the way the light playing off my skin, that's all. Oh, okay. Boys can be so dense sometimes. Good luck on the exam, by the way. If you head back now and get ready, you should still be able to make it. Thank you. That's what I like about you, Tsukasa. Huh? Also, I'm sorry. For what? Well, it's just that yesterday things might have been a little awkward between us after talking about the school legend, remember? Oh yeah, I think I remember something like that. What do you mean something like that? I was really bothered by it, you know. Hey, you girls obsess over little things sometimes. Me, I didn't think anything of it. Really now. Then another sigh and turned back toward the morning sun, stretching out my arms skyward as a sudden wave of exhaustion overcame me. The days got brighter bit by bit, and I just stood there, silently trying to piece together all the jumbled thoughts rattling around in my head. I was running away from Yoshie, and Tsukasa was with me. Then I was saved by that old woman. It really was just a dream, huh? No, with Heavenly Host, usually when something happens, it like erases memory. As the bright rays of the sun washed over me, I felt my new life and new hope welling up from within. I finally came to terms with those horrid events. Most likely, I got that pen case without incident, but then on my way back, something hit my head and knocked me out. That would just be my luck. Oh, hey Shishido, don't move. Stay right there, just like that. I didn't know what he was planning to do, but he was staring right at me. I felt kind of like he was staring into my soul. And then... What? Slowly, Tsukasa drew his face towards mine. Is he? Shishido? Are we getting confession? Are we getting a kiss? Kisu? No way, is he really going to... I shut my eyes, I was ready for this. Or maybe I just didn't want to look. But the next sensation I felt wasn't quite the one I was suspecting. Shishido, what happened here? Huh? He grabbed my arm for some reason and was starting staring down at it intently. What the hell? What is he doing? Whoa, what is that? Seriously, I had no idea that was there. Turns out he was just concerned by the strange bruise I had apparently received, which had momentarily became visible when I raised my arms. It was right around my elbow, right where Yoshie had grabbed me in my dream. Looks like it hurts. It doesn't hurt at all, actually, but... But what? Never mind, it's nothing. Giving a wry smile, I gently pulled my arm from his grip. Hey, Tsukasa? Yeah? Before we go home, I have a favor to ask you. What is it? Would you mind if we held hands? Held hands? Tay-tay, yeah. Yeah, just for a little bit, or is that asking too much? When he asked what I wanted to do this, I fed him his own line. I just told him, no reason. We only joined fingertips, but for the first time, I felt like I was connected to another person's heart. I remember feeling so happy. And now we go back to the not fun bits. Hey, Miss Yui. Miss Yui. Tsukasa. Miss Yui, please. I knew I heard that voice before, but who was it? Was I just dreaming again? I still felt like I was holding Tsukasa's hand, though. Miss Yui, your hand. Huh? What? Good, you're awake. Huh? What? Mochida? That's right, it's Satoshi Mochida. I was still dazed. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew that was one of my students, Satoshi Mochida, was here, and he looked concerned. Miss Shui, your hand is... What? Oh, my. I finally realized what he was talking about. I was holding Mochida's hand in my own and squeezing it awfully tight. Excuse me, please. I'm so sorry. It's no problem, though. I had to say, you have a really strong grip, Miss Yui. Do I? Now, in the past, I was renowned far and wide for being a weak, dainty young beauty, you know. How exactly do I respond to that? Well, she has a bruise on her arm. Well, you could say something nice. Mochida was a good student. He and I got along well, and we were already falling back into our usual pattern of good-natured ribbing, except... Wait a minute, why are you here, Mochida? Well, that's I told you earlier, didn't I? I guess I shouldn't be surprised you don't remember anything. What am I supposed to remember exactly? A little while ago, you ate some porridge I made and took medicine before passing out again. I told you everything then. You did. Have you seriously forgotten all of that? Completely. Hee hee hee. Don't laugh, jeez. Mochida signed and pointed at the table. Class notes from Mr. Yamazaki. Wait, did you come all this way just to deliver those? Yeah, and when I did, you were in a pretty bad shape. Or a bad way, so I made you some porridge. Oh, but don't worry, I had permission. Mona said I could borrow your kitchen. Monet did he? I stroked Monet's neck and he lied down contentedly on my futon. Such a pretty kitty. I was getting kind of wrapped up in petting him, so as I often did, I almost forgot Mochida was there, until he let out a huge sigh. Also, Miss Yui, leaving your front door unlocked is very dangerous. Oh, was it open? Yeah, and you're lucky I was the one to discover that. You need to be more careful. Duly noted, thanks, hee hee. Did I say something funny? No, you just sound like my mother. Yikes, I don't think I like the implications there. Didn't mean to laugh, I just seemed to be kind of deranged. I must have seemed kind of deranged, but I couldn't always blame it on the fever. I could always blame it on the fever. Mochida looked at me and let out another sigh. My poor sense of humor must be getting to him. Well, you sure seem a lot better than you were when I got here, so that's something. I feel better too. You slept like a rock, Miss Yui. That's right, I woke up this morning feeling dizzy and chilled. I called in sick, put out food from Monet. I don't remember a thing after that. You don't remember going to the convenience store? Your convenience store? Yeah, I found a cold pack and snacks. Let's see. Here, look. The time of the receipt was this morning. Wow, you're right. How could you possibly not remember going to the store? Hehehe. Amazing. That's just... Seriously, you need to pull yourself together. You didn't go out in your pajamas or anything, did you? Well, I don't think I did. I wouldn't be surprised. Don't try and hide behind that laugh. Sorry? Were you taking care of me this whole time, Mochida? Uh-huh. Well, I'm really sorry you had to stay this late. It's already past 10 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't believe Mochida had been with me this whole time. I felt both guilty and grateful, and definitely gained a new respect for him. There's still a little porridge left if you get hungry. Thanks. And I brought these too. You went to the supermarket. There wasn't anything in the fridge when I checked, so I figured I might as well. The bag was quite heavy. Inside was a bottle of orange juice, some bananas, canned peaches, apples, and other assorted fruits. That's vitamins. When you're sick as you are, your body needs all the help it can get to fight back. Think of it like medicine. Mochida. That much fruit couldn't come cheap, especially for a high schooler. Considered offering to pay him back, but decided against it. I knew he wouldn't take my money, and besides, I really appreciated the fact that he'd gone to all this trouble for me. I'd return the favor another time. If it ever seemed like he was going to be staying late after school, maybe I'd buy him dinner. I could help him with preparations for the school festival. Well, it's getting late. I should go. Oh, will you be okay? Do you know your way back? If you'd like, I could take you at least part of the way. It's fine. Just go back to sleep, Miss Yui. You're not better just yet. Besides, it isn't safe for women to walk around at night. Aw, you're such a sweetie. Saying how much you care just makes my heart skip a beat. Oh, does it now? I'm not sure you'd be saying something like that to me, Miss Yui. Huh? Why not? Mochida and I joked like this a lot, usually. It made him blush and get adorably embarrassed. But not today. Today he was grinning sheepishly with a mischievous glint in his eyes. I didn't get it. What was his angle? Who's Tsukasa, Miss Yui? Is he your boyfriend? How do you... You kept calling his name in your sleep, Tsukasa. Tsukasa, you cried. Lost in some kind of wonderful dream. What? So, who is he? That crafty Mochita had turned the tables on me. And how embarrassing to know I'd been calling Tsukasa's name. Well... I hesitated to answer for a moment, but then I figured, what the hell? Why not? Tsukasa was my first love. Oh... Judged by your actions earlier, you must have seriously been head over heels for him. What? Why? Well, when I got here, you thought I was Tsukasa. It was unbelievable. Wait, what are you saying? This you, your face is beet red. That's just my fever, I swear. Well, that's fine. I'll leave you believe whatever you want to believe. Oh, come on. Whatever happened to respecting your elders? You shouldn't mess with adults. Ha ha ha. But you're in rare form today. You never get to see you like this. I wasn't sure he was ever going to give me the full story of all the embarrassing things I had done in my fevered days. And maybe it was better he didn't. Either way, I was in his debt, so he could tease me all he wanted, just this once. Oh crap, I have to get going. Yuka's gonna be really mad with me. Hello, Vidier! Thank you for following! We're just finishing up, I think, this chapter. It was a lot of reading. Hello, hello! Thanks for everything. It's dark out, so please be careful on your way home. No worries. And Miss Yui, you be sure to eat right and get better ASAP, you hear me? Of course, I'll kick this in no time. Fight the good fight. Thanks. What a good kid, that Mochita. I better be careful, though. He is my student, after all. What do you mean you have to be careful? Monet, come here. Well, you sleep with Mommy tonight. Hee hee hee. I miss you, Tsukasa. We died a lot. End Chapter 3, Encounter. Clear. Purgatory is now open. Let's check if the fall sales happened yet. Is it? We got sales. Okay. I am going to end... Oh, don't worry, Vidier. Chorus Party it's an older game. So, like... First one's pretty good. Second one is more like based on bad endings. And I think the final chapter is a continuation of the first game. Of the good ending. And I say the final game. The final game is, But I am going to end the stream now because I'm going to try to get my hands on Spirit Hunter. Both games, because the Halloween sale started just now. And on Saturday, I believe I have time on Saturday, we're going to probably start Spirit Hunter. Because it's a perfect game for Halloween. Ghosts. Spirits. Dying a lot. But we died a lot already in this one. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you for... I know you just got here, Vidier, but... We'll play more games soon. Oh, Twitch doesn't like the opening. Let's get out of here. There we go. Thank you for coming. Have a good day. We'll be streaming more on Saturday for some Spirit Hunter. Bye-bye.